got through my investments the most significant climate change law ever. And by the way, it is a $369 billion bill. It's called we should have named it what it was, but
So that's Biden saying that the Inflation Reduction Act was mislabeled. They gave it a fake name, and what it really was a climate act. And that's what they do. They just spin it, they lie, and now they wonder why people have lost all confidence and why we really don't believe virtually anything that they tell us. We've just lost confidence. They've failed us. They've deceived us. And here is Kamala now. We'll roll clip 2 on her big flip-flop, her take on fracking. Let's see how she wiggles out of this one.
Will you commit to implementing a federal ban on fracking your first day in office, adding the United States to the list of countries who have banned this devastating practice?
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
Okay, so she's banning fracking. Well, now she's got her back up against the wall. She knows that they have to win Pennsylvania in order to win the White House. Pennsylvania has become a must-win state, really for both campaigns, but in particular for the Harris campaign. We'll delve into that a little bit more in a bit. But if you're listening to us in Pittsburgh, we come to you there on Pittsburgh News Talk, AM 1480 and FM 98.7. And if you're listening to us in Philadelphia on AM 740 or FM 103.3 on Liberty Radio, you have a lot of power today. Your state and your vote is going to really impact how this presidential election turns out. Now, Kamala Harris and her advisors, they know that they've got to win Pennsylvania. So what have they done? They've just changed their tune as we roll clip 3.
No, and I made that clear on the debate stage in 2020 that I would not ban fracking. As vice president, I did not ban fracking. As president, I will not ban fracking.
Now, how can you go from I oppose fracking to I will not ban fracking? But that's what they've done in a matter of nanoseconds because they know that they have to win Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania is a big oil production state. And fracking, if you don't know, I'm sure you do, is how you can squeeze more oil out of a well. I don't really understand the science behind it, but as I understand it, they thrust water down the well and it causes the water to enter fissures and create fractions in the rock table where the oil is trapped. And as you do that, it releases then newfound oil. So it makes oil wells much more profitable once you frack that well. Now, if you're in Pennsylvania and you understand fracking, or you don't even have to be in Pennsylvania if you understand fracking, give us a call at 804-778-8888. The phone lines are open. I would love to take your calls this morning. We're going to be talking about lies, 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 and the Dems' go-to knee-jerk formula. And I'm just sick of it. I mean, are you like I am? When someone lies to you, does it spark a reaction in you? Does it trigger you? It really triggers me. And I think that the reason that it triggers me is because I think they're just taking me for a fool. If they can lie to me and get me to agree with them, then they must just think I'm a fool if I know better. And that's what they're doing to the American people. I'm over it. I'm fed up with it. So she was going to ban fracking in 2020. No, she's not going to ban fracking in 2024. Okay, now let's go to the next lie. She had a summer job at McDonald's.
Daughter of Oakland, California, who was raised by a working mother. I had a summer job at McDonald's.
There's just one problem. Nobody can prove it. Now, I'll tell you that when I was 14 years old, I went and got a work permit, and I worked at Burger Chef, which is just like McDonald's. I can give you 6 people's names to call that can testify to the fact that I worked at McDonald's or at Burger Chef. I guess I wasn't good enough to get a job at McDonald's, So I settled for Burger Chef. But there's the two Welker boys whose dad ran that Burger Chef on the Gray Highway in Macon, Georgia, who worked there. There's a friend of mine on Facebook, whose name escapes me right now, who worked with me at Burger Chef on the Gray Highway in Macon, Georgia. And then there were my three high school buddies who came into Burger Chef on their way back from Lake Sinclair one weekday afternoon. I had on my little hat and my uniform. I was running the cash register, and my buddies, Buzzy and Jim, and I cannot remember the third, came in and said, "Oh, Gordo, you're working at Burger Chef," and were kind of making fun of me. They came in with their shirts off, all tanned. Their hair was blonde from being out in the sun all day. They looked like they were stripped from a magazine. And there I was in my little Burger Chef uniform and my hat on. And they were poking fun at me. Okay, who's laughing now, boys? It's okay, I'm over it, sort of, maybe 60 years later. But nobody remembers Kamala working at McDonald's. So it appears to be just an out-and-out fabrication. Then we have that little topic of immigration.
And when asked whether or not the border should be decriminalized, do you still believe that?
I believe there should be consequence. We have laws that have to be followed and enforced that address and deal with people who cross our border illegally.
She said that she wanted to decriminalize people that cross the border. But now she wants to build the wall and crack down on immigration, illegal immigration. And then there's that sticky little problem of inflation. When Trump left office, it was 1.4%. It has been as high as 9%. And here is Kamala's lame answer.
Here, the steps that you're talking about now, why haven't you done them already?
Well, first of all, we had to recover as an economy, and we have done that. I'm very proud of the work that we have done that has brought inflation down to less than 3%.
So it was 1.4%. It got up to 9%, and they have gotten it down to 3%. Well, there's a whole lot more to that story. If you saw the jobs report this week, unemployment is now up to, I believe, 3.4%. No, 4.3%. That's it. 4.3%. It's up a whole percentage point over what it was when Trump left office. And that probably affects about 2 million Americans. But they want to tell you that Bidenomics is working. What? Bidenomics is working. And here's what she has to say about her flip-flopping.
Because once you enter politics, it's the sort of detail that people like to know, and it makes you seem part of the populace, not some sort of an elite who's lived a privileged life.
All right, so what a sad day it is in America when we have to go to Sky News for our truthful journalism. But all those clips that we just played from you are straight off of Sky News in Australia. That's where I go to get my news because I know I can believe in them. They know they tell the truth and give me more insightful journalism than the media outlets in the United States, with the exception of Fox, Newsmax, and the Epoch Times. I don't know if you read the Epoch Times. I love the Epoch Times. But these people just lie when it's not necessary. Take her vice presidential candidate. Let's see what he has to say about tacos.
As damning as it gets, stolen valor and a habitual liar. And we do know he's lied about a number of things, some of them bizarre. We've had lies about his family's IVF journey to even the spices he uses for his taco recipe. Remember, he doesn't use any spice, he only uses pepper, and then we found out he'd won all these awards for his spicy tacos. It kind of lends weight to what those men were saying, that he lies even when there's no reason to lie.
He lies even when there's no reason to lie. He talks about his tacos not being spicy, but then we find out that he won an award for his tacos, and the comment that they made was that they have a big kick and that they have a lot of seasoning with them, and they're really hot. God, who cares? But why would you lie about the damn tacos that you make? It just reflects on their truth and their veracity and their lack of a conscience. That's what it tells me. But what's more significant, as you know, and it's been played over and over again, they have lied about his military service. He said that he did combat, and he didn't. And they call that stolen valor. And you know what stolen valor is? It's a felony. It is a crime that you can prosecute. Is it catching up with them? 48% of America seem to like Kamala. Does that mean 48% of America are okay with being fed lies? And censorship is becoming a worldwide phenomenon. Free speech is under attack in virtually every corner of the globe. You've never had freedom of speech in Russia. You for sure have not had freedom of speech in China. And now they have threatened to prosecute Elon Musk if he didn't turn X off on Starlink satellites providing X into Brazil. And they said they're going to lock him up. And it is a violation of Brazilian law, according to Elon Musk. And so he has shut X off in Brazil and is going to take his case to Brazilian courts because he believes that the law in Brazil are on his side.